Hi guys, this is Dave here again with Previous Yeoman Tree Services. Welcome to video number 2 about knots and hitches. So last time we went over the girth hitch, also known as the cow hitch, and the clove hitch. Today we're going to go over a third one after we review the other two, and that's going to be the Alpine Butterfly. It's one of my favorites, and it's probably one of the most important knots that I use every day when I'm climbing. Everybody's going to need to know this one, so thank you for tuning in. And another knot today. And first, what I want to do is review, because you know what? If you're learning something, it's always good to review. So we're going to go over the last two we learned before, and then we're going to go over one new one today, which is one of my favorites. Anyway, we're going to get there. So the first thing I want to talk about is, once again, coming back to this training. Why do we do this? It's because knowing about a dozen really important hitches and knots. By the way, a bite, I didn't really clarify this. A bite of rope is just that. That's a bite. Be like, if I wanted to take a bite out of this rope and I want to get a good bite, I'd get a bite. Think of it that way. A hitch is anything that ties to something like a hitching post, and if that piece were to go away, then immediately it would fall out, the rope would fall out, and there'd be nothing left. A knot is actually something that you tie in. So think of it that way. Why do we want to learn? Why do we want to learn all of these? Why is it important for tree work? Well, as I mentioned last time, one of the things, it's consistency. Everybody knows how to untie it. Everybody knows how to tie it. The climber up in the tree especially knows what to expect when he gets up in the tree. Sometimes I've been up in a tree before and I get this crazy apparatus of stuff that's all tied up, and I'm going, I don't even know how to untie it. You know, safety is a major issue too in tree work, and there are times where you might have a few seconds to really get something done. When you're up in a tree, if you cut yourself bad enough, you could be passing out if you were bleeding in less than a minute. So, it does matter, and I joke about it, but there's a certain importance to this, and that's why we're going through it. These are important, and if you're gonna learn something, you gotta practice. Because practice makes life frustrating. It really does. Anyway, yeah, practice makes life frustrating. It makes, practice makes perfect. Anyway, so what we're going to start with is just a quick review. We went over last time the girth hitch, which is also called the cow hitch, and the clove hitch. So quickly, girth hitch, take a bite, double it over, and then fold it in. That is a girth hitch, okay? Let's look at it over here real quick. If I put this girth hitch on here, if I wanted to, I could also do something, which I want you to see. Anytime you tie something in, anytime you run this hitch out, if you wanted to be able to see how it's done a different way, because there's more than one way to do a bite or to do a hitch or a knot. But if I wanted to see another way to do it, I could just simply undo this and I could start from scratch. You see what I'm doing? And go, okay. So if I wanted to do the girth hitch on this, how would I do that? I would come up, I would come around, and I would just go back through. And now this girth hitch, basically, this is the one that I consider to be probably one of the best hitches for if you're hitching something up to the ball of your truck. Like, let's say you're going to pull a tree and you're going through a block. So, girth hitch, also known as the cow hitch. So let's go back to this one. The next one, clove hitch. I like this one if I'm up in a tree and I just want to be able to quickly, you can use a carabiner or a clip or whatever, but rope works. Rope hitches work. So sometimes you don't have one. And it's good to know. So I go over the branch with it, throw it over itself, creating this. This is a bond. This is tight. You see how it's hard for me to pull that out? That's essentially what's happening here, is there's friction on this. If you've ever been up in a tree and you were trying to natural crotch rig down something, if you're a climber, and you realize that the rope wasn't running after the branch was close to the ground, it was coming down and it just stopped running. That's because inadvertently you might have created that up over the crotch of the tree, and it'll hold tight. So anyway, that's the mechanical part of the whole thing. Anyway, we come up and over and back up through. Look at it. Memorize what you see right there. That's it. That is it right there. Your clove hitch. Don't forget that I did teach you that there's something called dressing a knot. And dressing a knot, I can't even get it undone. Must have tied it pretty good. Dressing a knot basically means you don't just leave it loose. Look at this. You don't just leave it all willy-nilly loose. You actually move it into place somewhat. And then with this knot, most of the time they recommend that you do a couple half hitches over it. I'm not going to go through the second one. Easy peasy. So you got your girth hitch down, right? You got it down, don't you? Good, good. And you got your clove hitch down? Absolutely. And you're practicing it. So today, the main thing is I'm going to teach you something called the Alpine Butterfly. Okay, so there's more than one way to tie this. And what I want to show you first is the easiest way that I've found. Okay, take a look right here. Okay, I am going to lay this working end of the rope over my hand. The working end of the rope is simply the end that you're doing the knots with, that you're tying things on with. See what I'm doing right here. Over the top, come around the back of the hand, make a second loop towards my fingers, and then come to the middle. You got that? One more time. It really doesn't matter which way you do this. But what matters is one here, one here, one here, and now I'm going to teach you this. Watch this. Take the end, bring it under your palm, and this little scallywag that you see right here, see this guy? That is your Alpine Butterfly, my friends. That's what that is. And that thing is called a midline attachable knot. What does that mean? That means that if I wanted to, I could take this long rope anywhere in the tree, wouldn't have to be at the end, and I could automatically attach it midline in the rope. Now, why is that convenient? Because let's say that I wanted to bring a saw up in the tree. Maybe that's what I'm doing. Maybe there was something that needed to come up. I don't know. It's probably not going to be the best example. Let's say that somebody needed a carabiner. Like that. Bring it up in the tree. Maybe there's a whole bunch of stuff attached to it. It's one of my favorites. I also appreciate this one when I'm doing SRT. So SRT is something that would be in another video as far as climbing. But right now, let's just look at this again. Okay, you ready? So let's look one more time. Really slow. We'll do it slow. The Alpine Butterfly. Just like that. Come through. Lock it down. Now, one of the things I will tell you is if I'm the climber up in the tree, you can dress this. Now we know what that means. Dress it, you know, dress it. But I'm not worried about you dressing this if you're sending something up in the tree. I'd rather it be loose because for me, up in the tree, I'm just going to shake this thing out so that I don't have to use two hands. Because that's one of the things that I talked about, is that a climber likes to be able to just use one hand, if possible, to untie things, which is part of the reason why we're learning this. So the other aspect of an Alpine Butterfly is, let's say we're doing SRT. So let's get into that. Okay, I'm going to tie my Alpine Butterfly. And then I'm going to insert this little apparatus here, which I was playing around with. This is the Quickie, the Notch Quickie. It's a really nice little handy way to attach things. It's got little middle like nubbins here, and you push them back through. Anyway, I'm not trying to sell the Notch Quickie, but I sure like this thing. Anyway, so let's say that I want to do some SRT. Let's take a look over here while I'm working. Okay. So SRT, the Alpine Butterfly. What's this look like? Let's go up over. Are you with me there? Okay, good deal. This is my tree. It's not really a tree. It's a branch that's kind of like a tree. So if you can imagine right now, I'm up over the crotch. And what I'm trying to look at right now is the easiest way to be able to set my SRT in. So I tie the Alpine Butterfly right here, bring it through, and then I put my Notch Quickie through. If I wanted to, I could make this easier. There you go. Lock it in. And in a case like this, I bring this up into the canopy. I'm working on this end of the rope, okay? I'm out limb walking, working down the tree, and then at some point I come back and I just draw this straight down through. And this Alpine Butterfly makes a perfect knot, because I can attach it anywhere I want to. Anywhere that I want to on the rope. It doesn't matter. Okay, let me take it out. Okay. So consider this knot number 3. Here we go. The Alpine Butterfly. Over. Number 2. Number 3 down the middle. Come through your palm. Push it through. And there it is. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Live it, learn it, love it. All right, guys, that's it for today. Appreciate you being along with me. If you like this, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time around.